My wedding preparations were perfect. Flowers, music, food, a guest list of 300 people. But I had noticed my groom Daniel acting strange in recent weeks. He was hiding his phone, coming home late, constantly making excuses about work. On my wedding day, I learned the truth. And he didn't know the microphone was still on. 300 guests would hear his true face. My name is Emma. I'm 28 years old, and I experienced the biggest betrayal of my life. But in the end, justice prevailed. I met Daniel 3 years ago. He was working at a marketing company then, and I was a graphic designer. He was handsome, successful, a gentleman. I could say it was love at first sight. Our relationship progressed quickly. After 6 months, we started living together. A year later came the marriage proposal. On a romantic dinner evening, he knelt down among the candles. "Emma," he had said, "I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Of course I said yes. The world was mine. Wedding preparations took a year. I planned every detail. Venue, flowers, menu, music. Daniel's only job was to show up and say yes. He said he was busy with work and left the preparations to me. But in the last 2 months, things started to change. Daniel began acting differently. He constantly kept his phone face down. He came home late. When I asked, he said client meetings. "Daniel, do you have client meetings every night?" I had asked one evening. "Emma, the company is growing. There are new projects. Everything will return to normal after the wedding," he had said. I believed him. Or I wanted to believe. A week before the wedding, I experienced a strange incident. Coming out of the grocery store, I ran into my old university friend Sarah. "Emma, how are you?" "Isn't the wedding this week?" she had said. "Yes, I'm very excited," I had said. A strange expression appeared on Sarah's face. "Daniel, is Daniel okay?" "Yes, why do you ask?" "I saw him downtown last week. He was having coffee with a blonde girl. They looked very intimate." My heart stopped. "Are you sure? Maybe it was a work colleague." "Emma, they were kissing." That night I asked Daniel. He denied it. "Sarah must have been mistaken. I'm not kissing anyone. I'm faithful to you." I wanted to believe. There were 3 days left until the wedding. Invitations had been sent. Venue was booked. Everything was ready. On the wedding morning, I woke up early. I went to the beauty salon, had my hair done, makeup done. The wedding dress was beautiful. When I looked in the mirror, I looked like a princess. The venue was magnificent. There was a guest list of 300 people. My family, friends, Daniel's family. Everyone was there. The flowers were breathtaking. The music was perfect. Father Wilson was waiting at the altar. I was walking slowly on my father's arm. Guests were standing. Everyone was smiling. Photos were being taken. Daniel was waiting at the altar. He looked handsome in his tuxedo, but there was a strange expression on his face. Tense, anxious. My father delivered me to Daniel. "Congratulations to both of you," he said. The priest was waiting for the ceremony to begin. The sound system was on. Everyone could hear. Right then, Daniel turned to me. "Emma," he said slowly. His voice was echoing from the microphone. "I'm sorry." "What?" I asked in surprise. "I can't do this marriage," he said loudly. "I don't love you. I love someone else." 300 guests were shocked. A deep silence fell over the room. Everyone was frozen. "What are you saying, Daniel?" I asked. My voice was trembling. "I want to be with Jessica. She's my true love. I can't marry you." Jessica. Even her name was foreign. Who is this Jessica? At that moment, a blonde girl stood up from the back rows. She was young, beautiful. She started walking toward Daniel. "Daniel is mine," she shouted. "We don't need to hide anymore." That's when I understood. Sarah was right. Daniel was cheating on me, and he was confessing this in front of 300 guests. But they didn't know that I also knew their secrets. And the microphone was still on. "Daniel," I said in a calm voice. My voice was echoing through the hall. "You're really a very stupid man." He was surprised. "What do you mean? Do the guests know who Jessica is?" I said, standing in front of the microphone. "Daniel's secretary, 22 years old. But the really interesting thing is something else." Daniel started to panic. "Emma, shut up. What are you doing?" "Jessica is not only Daniel's lover," I continued. "She's also his partner in stealing company money." 300 guests were shocked. Jessica's face turned white. "Yes, dear guests," I said, smiling. "Daniel didn't just cheat on me, he also stole company money. He and Jessica created fake invoices together. $500,000 missing money." Daniel's face turned red. "This isn't true. Emma, you're lying." "Isn't it true?" I said, showing the documents I took from my bag. "Here are the fake invoices. Here are the bank records. Here is Jessica's signature." Whispers started among the guests. Daniel's father, Mr. Thompson, stood up. "Daniel, is this true?" he shouted. "Dad, I." "And this isn't all," I continued. "Jessica isn't Daniel's only girlfriend either. She's also with the company's accountant, Robert." Jessica screamed. "No, this isn't true. Here are the hotel records with Robert," I said. "Last month, Intercontinental Hotel, room 124-7. Jessica Miller and Robert Davis." Daniel looked at Jessica. "Is this true, Jessica?" Jessica started crying. "Daniel, I can explain." "So," I said, playing my final card with the microphone. "Daniel is both a cheater and being cheated on. Jessica is both a thief and very multi-partnered. And Robert is— where is Robert, by the way?" A middle-aged man stood up from among the guests. "The company's accountant, Robert Davis." "Robert," I said, smiling, "how was your honeymoon with Jessica?" Robert's face went pale. Yes, guests," I said, making my final strike. "This wedding is cancelled. But don't worry, the food is ready, there's music, we can continue the party. Daniel, Jessica, and Robert will be somewhere else soon, in prison." At that moment, the hall erupted. Daniel was shouting, Jessica was crying, Robert was trying to escape. Guests were in shock. Father Wilson took the microphone. "Ahem, I think this ceremony has ended." I calmly walked out of the hall in my wedding dress. Behind me was chaos. 2 hours later, the police came. Daniel, Jessica, and Robert were arrested for $500,000 fraud charges. That evening, when I got home, my mother called. "Emma, how do you feel?" "Surprisingly good," I said. "At least I learned the truth." "So what will you do now?" "I'll live my life, but this time with the right people." 6 months later, the trial began. Daniel got 3 years in prison. Jessica got 2 years. Robert got 2.5 years. I started a new life. I developed my graphic design business, established my own agency. One of my clients was a young lawyer, Michael. "I heard your wedding story," he had said when we first met. "You're a very brave woman." "I'm just a prepared woman," I had said, smiling. Michael and I started dating 6 months later. This time, everything was different. We had an honest, open relationship. Last month, he proposed. This time, we got married with a small, intimate ceremony. Only family and close friends. The complete opposite of the hall where Daniel caused chaos. Daniel, who thought he left me at the altar on my wedding day, had actually done me the biggest favor. He had shown me his true face, and the microphone being on that day, it wasn't an accident. I had left it on, because in recent weeks I had investigated his true face, his relationship with Jessica, money-stealing plans, everything. I knew it all. That day I wasn't just a betrayed bride. I was a prepared woman, and justice prevailed. The microphone staying on? Sometimes the biggest accidents are the biggest moments of justice.